Let me start by saying this, and this is the key to all human creativity. The human mind is marvelously wired to overcome constraints and obstacles. The popularity of video games only proves the point. Often we can go to bed feeling overwhelmed with a particular problem and wake up the next morning with a fresh perspective and a possible answer. If you give a great artist only 3 colors, they can make a great painting out of only 3 colors. If you give someone like me 1,000 colors, the painting still won't look good. How many great bands only had 3 members total, or maybe only had 1 or 2 songwriters? What separates those who struggle to get creative from those who are fountains of creativity? What separates the one-hit wonders from artists like Prince, Taylor Swift, the Beatles, or David Bowie? The first obstacle to overcome in this process is to get your brain out of the way of itself. A mature artist has learned to do exactly that thing. David Bowie actually wrote songs about his own death as he was dying. Now, hopefully none of you are dying, but David Bowie didn't even let cancer stop him from writing songs. Do you hear melodies in your head? Great. Write it down or get your smartphone or tablet voice recorder out. Sometimes you can just feel a certain way, musical inspiration just hits you, and the writing will seem effortless. But what if you don't have either of those experiences or not currently having that experience? Does that mean that your creative brain is broken or that you have to wait around for it to start up again? Absolutely, positively not. Now let's deal with some of the songwriting I can'ts and replace those with songwriting I cans. I'm going to group some of these together. I don't have time, and when I come up with something cool, I can't remember what I came up with. Remember that the same smartphone that robs you of your time also has a timer on it. So you can do one of 2 things. Ignore your phone and buy an egg timer and set it for 10 minutes, or ignore the notifications and calls on your phone for 10 minutes. Maybe use your iPhone focus feature if you have an iPhone. I know Android has a similar feature. Your smartphone also has a voice recorder on it, or you can download one for free. Now, I personally love to use the voice recorder. I've made it a habit that every time I come up with a good idea, I just click on that voice recorder. Generally speaking, when I hear something that I did, I can remember how I did it. Now, if you're not at that point yet, that's okay. You can use your video. Make a short video of yourself playing your idea. Another thing is just plain old-fashioned repetition. If you have a good memory, maybe just a few repetitions of your idea is enough to ingrain it. Sometimes you might have to play it 6 times or whatever, but whatever it takes to ingrain it in your brain, and then make some sort of title for it or just a word that reminds you. And then another thing you can do is just write down your basic melody notes or the chords that you're doing. DAWs, okay, digital audio workstations are everywhere. And yeah, they're nice. I mean, you can record yourself, you can multi-track. There's many cool features. A lot of them have AI built in now. The thing with AI is it can give you some suggestions, and sometimes those are good starting points. But at the end of the day, it's important to realize that there is no replacement for our human creativity. Our creativity is something that we as humans need to utilize for our own survival, our happiness, and our well-being. Not to mention the music's just going to sound better. Okay, so maybe you struggle with my ideas sound like previous ideas that I stole from someone else, or they seem recycled. The reality is every innovation is based on prior innovations and usually combining them together in new and novel ways. For example, electric car. Batteries meet car. With Tesla, the magic was just how they built the battery. Kid Rock, hard rock with hip hop. Not the first artist to try this out, but certainly did popularize the approach. The Beatles combined their earlier influences, Chuck Berry, vaudeville, Tin Pan Alley, and after their trip to India, they were influenced by Indian music. As long as it's not a direct ripoff of a melody, I think you'll be just fine. And by the way, chord progressions can't be copyrighted. Maybe you struggle with, I'm not creative, I wasn't born with it, the creative side of me has been lost, I don't have any ideas, I don't feel anything. And again, you gotta just get out there. Do it, try it. I think you'll be amazed. The key is to just start writing and the story will come. A lot of times we talk ourselves into learned helplessness or a state of depression, and you have to tell yourself, this is not true. This is not true. I do have the ability to write songs. Talk yourself out of that learned helplessness. Okay? Just like you talked yourself into it in the first place, you can talk yourself out of it. And with that, I think it's time to look at our exercises. These exercises I designed in a way that basically I'm creating some sort of rule or guideline, because when you give people a rule, they try to break it, and when you give people an obstacle, they will try to overcome it. So if I give you that starting point, it's going to kick your creative brain into hyperdrive, and before you know it, you'll be making this exercise into something different. And as I had stated in the past, a lot of times just the sheer fact that you're exercising your creative brain is going to cause it to be stronger, and you'll find yourself creating ideas that had nothing to do with the exercises just because your creative brain has jumped into gear. So let's go ahead and start now with the exercises.